Close out segment. Week in review. Mary Alice want to talk about reproduction.
Reproductive justice. I want to talk about reproductive justice.
Okay.
Since the 2010 elections, where the Republicans lied and said that they wanted to get elected in order to create jobs, they did not do that. The first thing they did when they got into the state houses across the country and the federal government is put attack after attack after attack on reproductive justice. And I'm asking any lady of reproductive age, from age approximately 10 to age 50, please pay attention, please register, and please vote, because what is going on is that these Republicans took advantage of the fact that too many of us stayed home during the midterm elections, and now they are introducing and passing legislation to cut abortion services, to specifically target Planned Parenthood, to cut access to birth control, to cut funding for WIC, Women, Infant, and Children's nutrition programs, to cut a wide variety of health care services for women and children, and we need to stand up against that. It is happening in a lot of forms all across the country. There are some states that actually went so far as to try to cut out the rape exemption. There are people that actually want women to not have access to any kind of birth control at all, and just if we get raped, oh well, have the rapist baby. There are Republicans that actually tried to change the definition of rape to add forcible rape. So that means if you had a gun on you and you couldn't scratch your attacker's face and get DNA under your nails, or you couldn't push him off, then it wasn't forcible rape. Or if you were slipped a rupee at the club and then you end up someplace you were passed down and you find out later you were raped by 5 guys, that wasn't rape under the forcible rape definition. I'm asking you ladies, please watch what's going on in the state elected houses and the federal elected houses, because the challenge to birth control access is fierce.
Key issue. And what needs to be really stressed is that people fail to realize that not only we define it as a woman's issue, it's a right to health care.
Without doubt.
And what we misconstrue is the idea that, oh, they're denying it. They are trying to defund Planned Parenthood, and most people have a misconception. That is a health care analysis and arrangement with a person all across their spectrum.
Of course.
And what they're, just to interrupt you,
right,
what they're trying to use is to say that Planned Parenthood provides abortion.
Right.
But the Hyde Amendment says that no federal funds can go to abortions.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, Planned Parenthood gets federal funding, but not for abortions, for cervical cancer screenings, for prostate cancer screenings for men, breast cancer, for all types of sexually transmitted diseases, and they provide the medication and or the prescription, plus other birth control options, so you do not have to possibly find yourself in a position where you might need an abortion. But if you feel you do, you should be able to get it, especially if there are situations, sometimes the fetus is malformed. Right. Sometimes the woman finds herself in a situation where she's alone and she has nothing. She's homeless. She's in college. She wants to finish her college education in order to be able to get financial stability so that she would be able to take care of any child. She might be unmarried. It's a woman's personal decision whether or not she wants to have a child, and more importantly, when she wants to have children, because most of us want to have children. We just want to be able to space them. Being pregnant takes a lot out of a woman's body, even if we take the prenatal vitamins and we eat healthy and we take the folic acid before we get pregnant. A baby takes everything a woman has.
Tell me something.
And we will give it to the baby, but we want to be comfortable that we can give it to the baby, and we want to have the choice. We don't want to be able to say that some rapists can decide when they're going to disrupt our lives and attack our bodies, and then we're forced to have their baby too.
What do you say? I got a question. What do you say to the women in the Republican Party? Mm-hmm. Statewide, federal government-wise, Congress, senators who sit back on the right and allow this to happen. They allow the assault on women, attack on women, and go against all of their needs. This is something that as a woman, you know you need these services. What do you say to those women on the right that sit back and accept this?
Okay, there are a lot of issues under this. One, there are economic issues. Middle class and upper middle class women can afford their health care services. They can afford abortions. Or birth control. They can afford if they want to have a child. Cancer screenings. They can afford if they want to have a child. They have the resources to take care of the child. Those women are able to go to a private doctor.
Right.
When they go to, let's tell the truth.
Let's look at Sarah Palin's daughter. I don't have a problem. People are human beings. But if you as a legislator pass that low-income women cannot have access to health care or abortion, but your daughter has a child out of wedlock, but you have the money to take that child to term.
So you just got the money.
Well,
as the governor, you didn't have your money.
The fact is, you still have access to a capital, or you're in a situation where if you decide to have that child, there are resources. Mary Alice pointed out, some women are homeless. Some women do not have anything.
Or some of us do not have a job or a husband, or maybe we're in college.
Are you talking about what the real issue is? The real issue is we'll cut all of these so-called social programs just so we won't tax the rich, and the rich can get more tax break.
And that's what I was going to bring to it also. Really but there's another piece to it too. I have to let people know. For those of you who heard the statistics that black women, by percentage, have more of the percentage of abortions in this country than anybody else, that statistic is deceiving. What happens is black women usually are low income. Or what happens is when we're low income, we will go to a government funded facility. It doesn't necessarily have to be Planned Parenthood. It could be any clinic or a local hospital in our area, and we will get our healthcare services there, whatever it is, STD screening or whatever it is, cancer screening, birth control services. But when we go, every single stat is counted because it gets federal funding. When middle class and upper middle class, when women with means go get their health care services, they go to private doctors. You know what an abortion is called in a private doctor's office? A DNC. A DNE. It's a medical term for clearing materials out of the uterus. And there are a lot of medical reasons why something would be in a woman's uterus. It could be fibroids. So they would be removed. The fibroids would be removed by something called a myomectomy. It could be endometriosis, where cells from inside the woman's uterus travel outside the woman's uterus and cause a lot of pain and discomfort. And there are different reasons why a woman would have these different kinds of procedures. Now, while having the procedure, if the private doctor wants to say, oh, my client had a DNC, nobody knows if that really wasn't a first trimester abortion. And the thing is that when the state and federal health departments collect statistics, it's easier to go to government organizations and get the statistics. The health departments need the resources to go to each and every private doctor and request those statistics from the private doctor, and they may not have the people to actually go to those private doctors to get the information, and then the doctor might or might not give the information. So nobody really knows exactly how many abortions actually happen in this country. And I will tell you, I'm around a wide variety of people. There are people from other cultures who come into our communities to get services, and they tell us. So sometimes you might think that all the people that are counted as black having these services are not necessarily black. Don't fool yourself. The bottom line is that women need health care. Our bodies are made a certain way. Yes, we want to be able to have babies when we're ready, when we can take care of them, when we have a roof over their head. We wish we could have husbands to help partner with us in life and raise the children. Sometimes we don't have that. Even without that, 72% of black children are born out of wedlock. So we still have the babies. Black women have the highest rate of fertility, meaning the amount of babies we have per thousand. Yep. We have the highest rate of fertility in this country. So for us to be attacked in billboards that say things like the most dangerous place for an African American is in the womb. How dare you? Where else is a baby gonna gestate but in a womb? Are you kidding me? And then they did it with the Latino women too. I'm asking you ladies, please register and vote. Never take your vote for granted, because these people are banking on, not Norman. I'm talking about Republicans who are they have control issues. They want you to be barefoot and pregnant. It's getting to the point where they are actually trying to legislate miscarriage. If you know anything about a period, a large majority of periods are miscarriage. I'm talking about monthly menstrual cycles. They're miscarriages. Mother Nature knows best. So how are you going to blame us for having a period or having a miscarriage? We don't have a control over when our period comes. We don't have control over. We don't have control over it. So you're gonna put us in jail, and nobody is looking at the men. If you're gonna say, "Oh, we drank too much coffee," or "We didn't take our prenatal vitamins," or illicit drug use or alcohol or whatever, what about the men? Nobody talks about what was the quality of the sperm that the man delivered to the egg. So there are a lot of issues that come up in this situation, but the bottom line is these people want to get overturn Roe v. Wade, which is the right to privacy between the woman and her doctor to decide the woman's health care needs. That includes abortion, the access to birth control, the criminalizing of miscarriage. Did you ever think? So what does that mean? The Gestapo is going to come and question everybody's, if you have a period, then you have to go to jail because you're supposed to be pregnant?
It's about
It's
defunding.
crazy.
It's about defunding.
No, it's more than that. It's really about control, because I'll tell you the truth, what I really think. Okay, we just did our census in the United States. China has 1.3 billion people. China has issues because they have more men than females. But so they have issues in that country with the sex imbalances because of what was going on in their country. I don't want to get into it right now, but they have, and having the one baby policy. So they have 1.3 billion people. We just had our census. We still have a little over 300 million. So I believe somebody must have decided that they want American women to have babies. If that's the case, I wish somebody would be honest and say so. Tell us it would be a patriotic thing to just be a breeder. And if that's what it is, tell us exactly how many babies you want us to have. If you want the United States population to come from 300 million to 1.3 billion, that means each fertile woman has to have 6.6 children.
But Mary Alice,
okay, so then who's going to take care of those children? So Republicans, if you want us to do our patriotic duty and have these multiple children, then you need to get honest, and you need to stop being selfish, and you need to provide us with what we need to raise these children properly.
Subsidized health, subsidized daycare.
Not just daycare. I want safe housing.
Yes.
I don't want to live in a project. I want to do, because we need to look at the outcomes of these children. And the reason why food stamps are in the local, vocabulary and in the economy is because during World War II, when they had the draft, they found that there were so many men who were drafted who were malnourished with rickets and scurvy because they didn't have enough eggs and cheese and milk and vitamin D and other vitamins, that the government said, but wait a minute, these nutrition things are readily solved if we provide nutrition basics, information, and the actual food to the population. So if you want us to be one American society, if you want us females to do our patriotic duty, you cannot discriminate against a black child or a brown child. Right now, 50% of the babies in this country are more than that are children of color. So you need to be able, if you want us to not have abortions, nobody really wants to do that. But if you want to take away birth control, if you want to criminalize us for having a menstrual cycle, then you need to come clean with it and tell us how many children each one of us women are required to
right.
have for you, and you need to take care of them well.
Mary, give us a website address where you write it.
I write for Our Time Press, and I blog on Roommate, and I just started a women's group called Power of a Woman because these issues became so passionate for me that I started this group. We started in East New York, Brownsville. In East New York, Brownsville, nobody asks those women anything, what they want, what they need, but everybody dumps everything on them. They're the largest number of crime victims. They're single parent households. They're going into shelters. They need, they have education challenges with the schools, the foster care, the children going into the prisons on Rikers Island. It's a lot of stuff that is going on with the women in East New York, Brownsville. Nobody asked them anything. So the point of Power of a Woman is that we present a topic each week related to women only because nobody is going to deal with it. So in July, the topic is going to be street sexual harassment.
Okay, we're going to close it out with that. We got to close it out. Got to pay the bills.
Look on Facebook, Power of a Woman.
Power of a Woman.